Broadcast Row for the Now generation. And now a special presentation from Broadcast Row. Broadcasting live from the greatest city in the world. Wake up. It's time, people, for your morning online gathering. Hosted by Mardel. It's the Wrestling Morning Show. And it starts now.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wrestling Morning Show. This is your host, Mardel. It's October 3rd, 2017, 9:05 Eastern Standard Time. Follow us on Twitter at Live Morning Show. Also, Facebook, The Wrestling Morning Show. Any information you need, go to thewrestlingmorningshow.com. We'll be talking about Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, foreshadowing a little Hell in a Cell today. Join the conversation, 844-627-3352. You could call in or text. The number again is 844-627-3352 as we begin the show. But before we begin, our prayers, our thoughts go out to the massacre, to the pure evil that occurred in Las Vegas late Sunday night. And as many of you woke up Monday morning or gathered the news overnight about the shooting that took place in Las Vegas, here on the show, our hearts go out to the families and to the victims, and we'll keep them in our prayers throughout the week and beyond. Well, hopefully now we could try to entertain you this morning, because Monday Night Raw did not. It was definitely a lackluster Monday Night Raw last night. It was kind of disappointing. The biggest thing that disappointed me last night, there was no mention of Brock Lesnar or the Universal title. Now, they do have 20 days till TLC. You would think we kind of would know who will be facing him. Now, it could be Braun for a rematch, or it could be somebody entirely different, or it could possibly, and I would hate to say this, Brock takes a month off. I don't think so. Also, Samoa Joe, will he be back in time to be at TLC? There were some moments last night. There were some moments in the 3-hour and 10-minute Raw that were entertaining. Things that stood out to me, we're going to talk about on the show. We're also going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Of course, the number is 844-627-3352. Sister Abigail is alive. Bray actually gave a promo last night that was haunting. I've often criticized on this show that Bray may be the most underutilized, the biggest waste of talent, the worst booked superstar of all time. Bray's phenomenal on the microphone. He knows his character. He could go in the ring. He gets underutilized. But for the first time in years, a promo actually was haunting and scary. It spoke to us. And this myth and mystery of Sister Abigail. We find out she's alive. But in what way? Is she a ghost? Is Abigail and Bray maybe the same person? That would be interesting. It all started, ladies and gentlemen, last night when Finn Balor was inside the ring and he cuts a promo, pretty much telling the universe he hates going out there and talking. He likes to fight. Not very good on the microphone, but he got to the point, and it was effective. And, of course, that's when Bray came out and revealed the big secret. Let's go in and take a listen from last night.
This is Balor Club right here in Denver, Colorado. I gotta be honest, I don't like to come out here and talk. I like to come out here and fight. Bray Wyatt, on the other hand, he likes to come out here and play mind games. Last week, he's got a little kid singing, he's got the whole world. I don't buy it for a second. If Bray Wyatt actually had the whole world in his hands, he wouldn't know what to do with it. See, he may call himself a god. He may call himself the eater of worlds. But I see Bray for what he really is. And that's a coward. Bray, you lost to the Demon at SummerSlam. You lost to the man at No Mercy. You can make all the excuses that you want, but the simple fact is that you're afraid. You're afraid that despite all your games, that you can't beat Finn Balor. So Bray, if you think otherwise, why don't you come out here and face me? Be my guest, man. Don't sing it, Bray. Bring it.
She never lied to me. 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 She never lied to me, but you did. She warned me about people like you, Finn. You lied to me. You claimed that you were just a man, but at No Mercy, you were different. You were more. And you also said that you, the man, created the demon. Liar! The demon fuels the man. You don't paint your face to become the demon. You peel your skin to reveal it. Show me your face, Finn. Show me your true face. And I'll do the same. Bring your demon, and I will strip back my flesh to reveal the true nature of my dark soul. Abigail is alive. And she is dying to meet you.
They close into a very haunting Bray Wyatt with his face all done. I am truly excited about this. This is what I'm leading with the show right now. And I know everybody's like, what about the Shield? And we knew the Shield. This was indicating. We don't know. When Bray Wyatt talks about Abigail, we knew she exists. Obviously, his finisher is the Sister Abigail. This could breathe new life not only to the feud. Who cares about the feud at this point? But even maybe to the character. So who is Abigail? A ghost? Are they the same person? Is it an alter ego? Is it a man? Who knows? Could it be a new wrestler? Even somebody on Twitter said it could be Paige, which obviously that's probably not true. I'm fascinated by this entire storyline. I'm curious if you are. If you are, call 844-627-3352. If you don't feel like calling, you can send a text. It's that simple. Hopefully you're listening and streaming live from Twitter, from Facebook, of course, the website. And don't forget to download. We have our own app. Download the app in iTunes and Google Play just to make it easier on the go. This entire show was built around the wrestling fans who obsess about wrestling, who love wrestling, and have nothing going on in the morning. Or, like 99% of you, have a lot going on, and this could entertain you on the go, at work, at school, getting ready to have your venture for the day. Let's get back and talk about Bray Wyatt. We're definitely going to talk more about it coming up in the second half, but I'm curious about this because we've seen Finn now beat Bray twice. We've seen the real Finn Balor, the man. And then we saw the Demon. And the Demon beat Bray. I always figured this would be a best out of 3. But now they're going to square off again, it appears. And now a whole new element. Sister Abigail. It would be nice to have a debut of a new female wrestler. Maybe somebody that's been working out at NXT. It'd be hard to cover that up and maybe even hard to sell that. But now I'm fascinated by this. This is what stood out for me. Now we move on to the other story that made headlines, and probably the biggest story. The Shield and the continued tease from last night. They're in Denver, Colorado last night, and obviously a class act by the WWE. They opened with a moment of silence for Las Vegas. And they quickly go to the first match. Obviously, it would not be apropos to start me with a huge promo. So what they did, they went right into Seth and Braun. Braun just destroys him early. Destroys him. And of course, they have a couple commercial breaks. And the face, Seth, continues to come back. And he comes back. But no. Obviously. Braun goes on and wins. Then gives him another slam inside the ring, leaves the ring, stops, turns around, thinks about possibly going back. And of course, we got Big Brother coming out. Dean Ambrose comes out and kind of beats up Braun for a while. It's pretty impressive by this, as we're thinking to ourselves, maybe we see Roman at this point. And of course, Braun handles him nicely. Cesaro and Sheamus come out. They attack Rollins and Ambrose. Okay, interesting. That's 2 people. 2 people right there. So it was good to see Seth. It was good to see Braun. We figured I think we all figured that Seth would probably come back at some point. Now, Braun brings up an interesting topic. And it's going to be a topic we're going to talk about a little bit later. We're going to also talk about it with Coder for the Code Break. We're going to talk about it extensively in the second half. Okay, now what? Braun lost. Braun lost at No Mercy. And it was probably the worst hyped match that I could remember. And that pay-per-view was awesome. It was a quick 9-minute match. I don't think it helped out anybody. Does he get the rematch against Brock? And I hope he doesn't take a back seat in this whole universal picture. I thought by now that title would be back on Monday Night Raw like a lot of people did, as it should. They're going up against Monday Night Football. They're going up against Dancing with the Stars. They're going up against all these shows that have fall previews. They're all kicking off. That title, if it's Brock or not, needs to be on Monday Night Raw. Now, we always applauded Brock for the last couple of months. He's been on Raw at 2, maybe 3 out of 4 weeks. That might be pushing it. Title needs to be back now more than ever, at least to the end of football season. Now, of course, I can only imagine they have pretty much the storyboard of what's going to go on up until the Rumble and beyond. So that should be interesting. And I'm assuming Brock figures in their plans some way, somehow. It's the how that is intriguing. They move on to the Mickie James segment. And then Elias Sampson has a small little segment. And Elias, for the first time, does not ask who wants to walk with Elias, which is the best part about the Elias gimmick. He's also getting very good on that guitar. He's getting very good at singing, by the way. He's also a pretty decent wrestler. We don't talk a lot about that. He got a lot of natural heat by the crowd. We've said this a million times. This is how you build a heel. You take your time. When everybody else was doing their thing, Elias Sampson came on, if you remember, for about 4 weeks, just drifting in the background, playing his guitar, not really saying anything. Then when he'd come out and sit in that ring and play a couple songs. And he did this for weeks. And it's just a great natural heat. And of course, he went through maybe not the most creative way, but How do you get over as a heel? You attack the city you're in. Oldest trick in the book. So it's Elias versus Titus. It's good to actually see Titus in the ring, but Elias goes over. Very good. Very nice. So now I'm excited about this. The segment that I was talking about, the Mickie James segment, she's going all over the arena looking for Alexa Bliss because somebody planted a pack of Depends in Mickie James' locker. And they give the illustration that everybody has their own locker. They've been doing that for decades, which is awesome. She knocks on Alexa Bliss's door, and who's there? Nia Jax. And many people are thinking, well, wait a minute. When did they become best friends again? Nonetheless, it's Nia Jax now. She's going to be taking on Mickie James. Now, of course, Alexa's ringside. This was such a long match, a very wasted match, and it dragged. And we knew Alexa was getting involved, and they dragged over 2 commercial breaks. Finally, Alexa comes in. Mickie James gets the win through a DQ. So with Mickie James's tenacity and perseverance, and of course she's Mickie James, she has a little surprise backstage interview, and then she gets a nice little visit from the general manager. Take a listen.
Mickie, congratulations on your victory.
Oh, thank you so much. I guess I showed those girls what this old lady really can do. And you know what, Charlie? There is nothing that I would love more than to represent the WWE Universe as the new WWE Raw Women's Champion.
I'd like to congratulate you as well, Mickie. Based on your career history being a 6-time women's champion and your performance tonight, I'd like to inform you that you will have your championship match versus Alexa Bliss at TLC.
Oh my God. Thank you. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
All right. That was fun. There you go. I'm excited for it. Something different. Give Mickie James an opportunity. Also, all she's going to do is make Alexa look better inside that ring, with a lot of people cannot do that. And we've experienced a lot of fatigue that's been going on. And of course, some people have jumped on this whole Emma bandwagon. I think it's getting played out. And of course, we're all suffering a little fatigue from Sasha and Bayley. We'll talk about that. It was a little bit of a fail as they put all these women together in a tag match. Now let's take a listen. This is backstage, the Raw Fallout, which is available on YouTube. Let's go ahead and just hear a small clip of Alexa backstage.
Alexa, we just found out that Kurt Angle made it official. You will now be defending your Raw Women's Championship against Mickie James at TLC. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, if Mickie wants to face a younger, stronger, more talented version of Mickie James, so be it. But TLC might as well be her farewell match, because Mickey's going to see that her time has passed and why I'm the Raw Women's Champion.
Okay, that was just quick. It's good to hear her talk. It's definitely going to be fun, as we mentioned. Right now, Alexa Bliss is probably single-handedly the most important female in that entire division. Okay, we got about 24 past the hour right now. Thank you for joining us thus far. We're going to have a lot more to come. We're going to finish talking about Monday Night Raw. We're going to foreshadow Hell in the Cell, SmackDown, talk about really anything you want to talk about. The number is 844-627-3352. Call or text. It's the Wrestling Morning Show.
Live on Broadcast Row, it's the Wrestling Morning Show. Now back to the Wrestling Morning Show.
Okay, so we're back with the program. Once again, it's 844-627-3352. Okay, Raw. Last night. Yeah. Some moments stood out. I think the Shield would be number one. Teasing that reunion. Sister Abigail is alive. And then I think Enzo Amore. That was interesting last night. We're going to get to that momentarily. But let's talk about the Shield. the reunion. Until those fists go together, which I think we will see next week, it's not 100% reunion. We talked about Seth and Braun opening the show. Now we have a title shot for Mr. Roman Reigns. A question I brought up on Twitter. Is he the top guy? Was the torch passed to Roman Reigns? We'll have some of those results later, of course. The voting is still open. Go to Live Morning Show on Twitter and vote for yourself. The very beginning of that match just happened about 9:45 Eastern Standard Time. Roman takes out the Miztourage. And, of course, all the announcers are trying to oversell the fact that he might be a little winded. The match finally takes place. Definitely back and forth. And, by the way, some of the best 2.5 kickouts I've seen in a very long time. It's like a 2.9, almost a 3, Miz and Roman. But Cesaro and Sheamus, they come out. And Cesaro and Sheamus, all three beat up Roman. Crowd is chanting for the Shield. And then Miz picks up on this and says, they're chanting for the Shield. And then they give the Shield powerbomb, where all three powerbomb Roman Reigns. First of all, it's great to see The Miz in a main event caliber match. Very strategic to do it at quarter till. More eyes were watching. Especially during the lull of football. So we go to the very, very end of the show. We're not talking the Enzo promo. We're not talking about the Cruiserweights. The very end of the show, Roman Reigns is hurt. He got beat up. That vest is not going to protect him. In strolls and Dean. No words are said. In strolls Seth. No words are said. A nodding of the head symbolizes they may be on the same page. Until I see the Shield with their fists in unison, I'm not going to believe it. But of course, it's inevitable. It's been a while, guys. We've seen all three men become heavyweight champions in a span of 2 years. All three of them at a time have been top guys. All three of them sell merchandise. All three of them have gone on and been very unique. This is very special. And fan bases, for the most part, love all three. Without a doubt, Dean and Roman, who are consistently faces, and Seth, obviously, with his new gimmick. So maybe this is their way of letting the world know the Shield are going to be reunited. And then you have more views. You'll have more eyeballs on TV. This is something everybody's expecting. So when you want to watch football or Dancing with the Stars, whatever's on, I got to watch Raw live. I got to watch it. Got to make sure I record it at least. I got to go on the network. I got to go on WWE.com. So this could be very strategic. They've done stunt gimmicks and casting and matches during this time of year, for the most part. Usually they just completely give up in September. And of course, they've done this a lot in November for Survivor Series, and October is usually kind of a swing month, especially November. That's a sweet month. So let's move on. For 2 weeks in a row now, Enzo Amore ends the show. And I have to tell you, if I've mentioned this for the last couple of weeks, I'm actually paying attention to the Cruiserweight division. Makes me sick, but I am. Especially now that he's a heel. He's phenomenal. He's always been very good on the microphone. I will never take that away from him. Of course, we have our own opinions about his in-ring performing. Obviously, there's a lot of Enzo fatigue that was going on. There was a lot of Enzo repetitive statements and attitude and vibes. Even the crowd was kind of eh. I mean, they sold a lot of merchandise, him and Big Cass. They didn't know what was going to go on. Big Cass got hurt. I wonder if I had asked somebody, I would ask them just right. When did you guys know? Was it before the breakup that Enzo was going to go to the Cruiserweight division? Or it just happened? Nonetheless, we're paying attention. And more importantly, he's getting over huge. It's revitalized him. And not everybody's hating on him. He still had a lot of cheers. Let's go back and revisit. This is going to be a long audio segment. Got Enzo pretty much establishing who he is. Then, of course, goes around the ring and shoots and tells jokes pretty much to all the cruiserweights. And it ends with a surprise signing. One of the bigger epic fails, I think, of the night. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
But let me get down to brass tacks, people. As far as the entire Cruiserweight division is concerned, and I do mean each and every one of them, they can go to hell. And anybody, any one of the haters out there that wants to agree with their sentiments, I'll tell you what you can do. You can go to hell too. No, I'm a nice guy, I promise. I'll tell you what I'll do for you. I'll even lend you my certified GPS to help get you there. The same certified GPS I use to put 205 Live on the map. Hey, and real respect real, all right? You don't respect that, what's that make you? A fugazi, okay? Because not only did I make 205 Live relevant, I made it the main event 2 weeks in a row. How you doing? No, seriously. The same Cruiserweight division is in the main event that you people dubbed the Snoozerweight division. You can hear a pin drop when those guys were in the ring. And then I become champ, I bring the noise, and suddenly I'm public enemy? Yeah. Public enemy #1 is a real one. Because it took every single one of those chumps jumping me, laying me flat like a pancake, bruised from Darien to Dome. And as I'm laying here like a pancake, nobody helping me, nobody coming to flip me. No, what do I hear? I hear, you deserve it. You deserve it. You're damn right I deserve this thing, people.
See, elements right there where I think obviously the casual fan may not even know that he's turned.
Then I don't want to be right. Because while I might be wrong, you know what it sounds like some of you are? Jealous. And if I was you, I'd be jealous of me too, because I'm money, guap, moolah, I'm making cheddar. More than you, and more than...
I got to give it to him, man. We held our attention when he talks. There wasn't a point at all where we actually got bored with this. I was intrigued. I'm curious what you think.
You see, people, I earned that money. Yeah, I did. I earned every single penny. Every one of them. And hey, whoever said that talk is cheap obviously never booked Enzo Amore and footed the bill for one of my appearances. And I'll tell you why, because I'm a ratings draw. I'm a star, okay? I'm putting more butts in seats than Lazy Boy. I get more butts than an ashtray. I got skills, charisma, athleticism. And I'd show you how fast my feet are, people, but I'm hurting. Oh, I'm hurting. My pockets ain't hurting, but I'm hurting. My back is killing me, too. Probably from carrying the Cruiserweight division on my back. How you doing? You see, people, I didn't have to wait in line for this thing. I crossed the line. So all you cruiserweights can fall in line, because ain't a single one of you fools laying a hand on me. See this championship? You ain't got a shot at it, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because last week, during the Certified G Championship celebration, you fools put your hands on me. And when I entered that...
So this entire thing, obviously, he mentions the fact that he has something. It was a written statement that if anybody touched him, of course, if anybody touched him at all, they would not have an opportunity at his title. This week, not only if they touch him, will they not have an opportunity, they will be fired. So then, after they're sick of Enzo rambling, we see the entire Cruiserweight division come out and surround the perimeter of the ring. Reminding you what was going on almost 12 hours ago.
Your job? Do you like it? Or do you want to be on the unemployment line, huh? Hey, whoa. Hey, back up, fool. You guys like your jobs or what, bro? You like it or what? Did you get that at a thrift store? Come on. No, dog. Hey, get that. Come on, now. What the hell is it?
Enzo finds himself in no man's land, surrounded by the Cruiserweight division. I got a feeling somebody's gonna get fired.
Hey, Mufasa, your parents did you a bigger injustice than I ever could when they named you after the Lion King, kid. You see this piece of paper right here? It says you touch me, you're getting fired. Same goes for you, God and Gnome. I'll kick you across the lawn. You got more abs than you do brain cells, Tony Nese, you schmuck. Look at this. Oh, you want to touch me? Gabagoolek. Gabagoolek. Captain Underpants. Good, I'm glad you put a suit and tie on. You should go sit next to Corey Graves behind the announce desk. Oh, look at you. What are you going to do? Schwan, are you going to touch me? You going to touch me? I'm MC Hammer, kid. You can't touch this. Why don't you bust a move for me? I know you're good at it. Look at that knockoff Versace, bro. Look at this. You see that? That's Versace, kid. What's up, teacup? You want to lay a hand on me? Why don't you hop in your DeLorean and go back to the future? That's right. Dressed like a 1930s paperboy. Hey, you look like a hobo. All right? Yeah, you get more money sitting outside this arena begging for change than you would if you stepped in this ring, because I got 0 dimes for you, kid. What's your future looking like? Mask on, mask off, sweet mohawk, mine's a lot better. Kid, I got more hair on my chest than you got on your face. So before you step in this ring, make sure you present an ID, because I don't want to have to assault a minor. Hey. What are you wearing, a scuba shirt? What size shirt is that, a schmedium? Get the hell out of here. Oh, Tozawa, you said you like me on Twitter. I'm not gonna hurt you right now. Because I could. And you? The Keebler Elf? What you wanna do, bro? What, you wanna hurt me? You wanna hit me? You wanna be out on the streets and homeless? Is that it? You already look like you're homeless. Kid.
I was hoping at some point that, yes, Neville would go ahead and attack him. And of course, Kurt Angle comes out and announces to the world, yes, these men cannot touch you. These men have forfeited their opportunity for your title, but not the person that I just signed. And Callisto comes out. Okay. That was the big reveal. That was the big reveal last night on Monday Night Raw. Callisto will take on Enzo, and he'll have a chance at the Cruiserweight Championship. Other things that occurred, obviously, last night. One of the epic fails, I thought. First of all, if you are a fan, not only in attendance, but on television, you love Sasha, you love Bayley, you get to see them together. They take on Emma. Emma handpicked her new partner, and it was Alicia Fox. Of course, an opportunity for everybody just to be in a match. I can't knock it. It goes on, and then it goes on. There's a commercial. Emma refuses to take the tag. Then we get a Bailey to belly, and Fox gets pinned. There you go. I think there's an element of Sasha and Bailey. Well, after there was a little fatigue, we already know what's going on in the women's division. We know Asuka's coming. That's all they've been doing. It's really promoting that. And does she come this month? She's got to come next month during Sweet Weeks. Or even more so, the week before, so people could tune in November. And they'll probably shake up the division at some point, but Alexa Bliss could be the very best of both brands. I know that I just probably offended a lot of you, but on that microphone, inside that ring, the persona, not only the heat that she generates, if you hate her, you hate her. If you are a fan, you love her. Starting to become a little bit more of a polarizing figure as the females go. Well, I thought it was a little surprising. As we all know, Jeff Hardy had surgery, a torn rotator cuff. So now Matt is a solo competitor. Okay, this could be creative. This could be fun. This could be something that we all have been expecting. Jason Jordan has looked phenomenal in having some enormous matches with John Cena and Roman Reigns and The Miz. Still is flushing out his character, still getting better on that microphone. So what occurred? Well, Matt Hardy and Double J, Jason Jordan, they form a tag team. I assume it's a one-time only situation. They take on Gallows and Anderson. You probably asked yourself the question I did. Wait a minute. They broke up Jason Jordan and got him out of a tag team to put him in a tag team? I think it's a one-off. Everyone needs to relax. It's a fun match, though. Matt Hardy actually spent a lot of time being the heavy. Jordan, of course, looked good. Seemed like he took a back seat, though. He looked very strong. But they get the Magic Killer on Matt Hardy and the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson. They get the win. It was really just a very long Raw last night. It really was. And, you know, I don't want to be a negative host. I really don't. Because there were moments that we're not only talking about today, we're going to be talking about tomorrow and probably next week. The Shield. The one thing we're not talking about is Cesaro and Sheamus. They just did the bar, this whole bar gimmick that they got. They are the bar. It's really getting to a certain level. I'm really enjoying it. And I can see them feuding with that third person and The Miz involved with this, with the inevitable of the Shield getting back together. Then you add on The Miz Taraj to that. It technically comes out to 5 versus 3, and I love it. So we saw the potential Shield reunion last night. Sister Abigail is alive. I'm fascinated by that. I've mentioned that 100 times already. Mickie James, I think, is taking this angle of the older veteran. And what she's going to do this little young runt. That's how they should give this angle and this gimmick to. Because everybody could identify that in some way. If you're 18 and there's a punk 14-year-old. If you're 62 and you're at work and there's some hotshot 31-year-old. You get it. Everybody can identify with the young person coming in that does not value experience. Storyline-wise, of course. Because a straight-up shoot is Alexa's talked many times how she adores Mickie James. And then, of course, in real life, her and I are very close, as it gets documented. One of the biggest fails of the night, in my opinion, still no mention of the Universal Championship. I think the only option is going to be a rematch with Braun, almost making up for the fact of how horrible the first Brock versus Braun was. Not only that, they'll have a safety net. that safety net is tables, ladders, and chairs. Well, that's how Braun won. Interesting. That takes place October 22nd at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm excited for that. Tell me what you are excited about. The number is 844-627-3352. That is the call line and the text line. 844-627-3352. It's about 15 till the top of the hour. That would be 10 a.m. Eastern. We get back, we're talking more about Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk about SmackDown. We're going to talk about Hell in a Cell. We got Coder coming up for the code break. And, of course, we'll have the open forum, whatever you guys want to talk about. Once again, this is the Wrestling Morning Show. I'm your host, Mardel. Back after this.
The Wrestling Morning Show with Mardel. Live on Broadcast Row.
Once again, good morning. We're entering hour 2. It is 10:04 Eastern Standard Time. Same time Marty went back in time. We talked a lot about Monday Night Raw. We got the code break coming up in just a matter of moments. Brent Coder will join us on the program. We did make a tweet. We shot a tweet out saying that Lance Russell passed away. Lance Russell, one of the greatest announcers of all time, ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest announcers of all time. Obviously, if you followed Memphis wrestling growing up, any type of Southern wrestling, especially the NWA, he was that voice. He was that voice of a certain generation that started out regionally, and then on a national level, people fell in love with Lance Russell and respected him. He will always be connected with Memphis wrestling. Jerry Lawler, one of the greats. And if you don't know who he is, please go online, go on YouTube and see some of his great segments. This was announced earlier this morning, and of course we tweeted about it. So to the family of Lance Russell, our prayers go out to you. Rest in peace, Lance. You were great. Okay, so we got a lot more to talk about. And really, one of the themes of this entire day was really talking about last night. What everyone is talking about is the Shield tease. And I've said this before, unless they join their fists and make it official, I'm going to wait. They teased, obviously, last night. I can only imagine, as they try to build for TLC, that this will probably take place next week as they want eyes watching. The tease last night, and of course, next week, I think it all comes together. And when it all comes together, obviously, this will have all eyes watching them because this is what people have been waiting for. They've been waiting for this for a very long time. Is it time? Are people ready for this? I think so. It's been 2 years. We've seen Seth and Dean and Roman all go on and become stars. Become superstars, really. Now, obviously, when the Shield first came together, Dean was probably the most established superstar out of all of them. Johnny Moxley. And he obviously had the skills on the microphone. When it was Florida Championship Wrestling, he was a champion. Not only that, took on CM Punk at an FCW house show. And that's on YouTube, and it's legendary. Seth Rollins obviously paid his dues in Ring of Honor. Colby Lopez. And came in with a certain pedigree. Roman Reigns, though, that was the dark horse. Obviously had the look. Had the lineage. Part of that great Samoan culture that's dominated wrestling for decades. So when you saw all three of them, I thought Dean would be the breakout superstar. He had his character pretty much set while he was in the Shield. We knew the talents of Seth Rollins inside the ring. We didn't know about the character quite yet. And then we had Roman Reigns, very timid on the microphone, taking more of that brooding, darker, mysterious gimmick when he was part of the Shield. Obviously had the best look out of the three. And they had their ups and downs. Now, obviously, Seth became a massive superstar inside the ring with some high-profile matches. I think when he became a superstar, truly was when he took on Brock Lesnar and John Cena in a triple threat match. And really put the cherry on top when he cashed in his Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. What a great moment in wrestling history. Dean went on and became very dominant on the microphone, started to evolve his character, has won multiple championships. And those two were set. And Roman was getting the push. He's the only one that stayed true to the original gimmick costume, even kept the Shield music. That took a little bit longer. But the most polarizing figure, without a doubt, of course, is Roman Reigns. That push, and one of the reasons that a lot of fans resent him, is because of this opportunity he's been given, winning Royal Rumbles, main eventing WrestleMania, and of course, quote unquote, retiring The Undertaker, beating John Cena in the last pay-per-view, having these opportunities that a lot of people think he doesn't deserve. That's, of course, people's opinions. But let's look at things that do matter. Popularity. Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns surpasses everyone with the exception of John Cena. Let's look at merchandise sales. He surpasses everyone with the exception of John Cena. He gets a reaction as big as maybe John Cena. Now, at the time when people got a little bit smart about John Cena, and they started getting a little sick of John Cena, of course, the chance of Cena sucks. But this was possibly 4 years in, maybe 3 to 4 years into Cena's career, where literally the boos, the heckles, the you suck, the Roman sucks, it came a lot earlier. Fans were 10 times smarter than they were 10 years ago when people started getting sick of Cena. So now we come to the present day. All three men, really with not the great storylines that they probably deserve. Now, Roman obviously has been a top guy for a while now. And Seth, it's been a little awkward since he's come back. That's for sure. Truly came back as a face, and where does he fit into that whole landscape? Find that interesting. Never really kind of came back to that top guy form that he once was. I'll never forget when they debuted in turtlenecks, as a matter of fact, helping the one and only CM Punk. It's been a great ride for the Shield. And now, what every fan wants, they want them to have a reunion. And I think it's going to take place. I don't think they would tease it. I don't know how long it's going to go on. Maybe it's a one-off. I don't know. But it should be interesting. And how do they react to Roman in this 3-0? That should be interesting, to say the least. Could this be a situation where they never forgave Seth? Maybe. Don't know. Have they really buried the hatchet between Seth and Roman? That's another thing. Should be interesting. I'm excited for it, though. Hope you guys are, too. If you are excited, if you could care less, any thoughts you have, it's time for some open forum. The number is 844-627-3352. That's 844-627-3352. Of course, you could follow us on Twitter at Live Morning Show. Any information you need, go to thewrestlingmorningshow.com. Now, I have to let you know, if you don't know yet, we have our own app. That's right. It's available on iTunes and Google Play. Download the Wrestling Morning Show app. You'll always have it on the phone. You push play, and there we are. It's that easy. So I'm excited about it. You guys should get it. It's easy, it's painless, especially if you're on the go. That's the most important thing. If you're on the go, definitely get it. Especially if you have an opportunity to have CarPlay, any type of device that you could Bluetooth inside the car, it is well worth it. You guys know that. Let me know what else is going on, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about Lance Russell at the top of this hour, one of the greats of all time. Recap the show fully. Now, what I'm excited about tonight. I'm excited about the go-home show for Hell in the Cell. The headliner, Shane O'Mac versus Kevin Owens. Did they do a good enough job pushing the show? This will be the first event at the brand new Little Caesars Arena. In an attempt to revitalize downtown, the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. This is now where the Pistons will play, the Red Wings will play. Not too far from where the Tigers play. Not too far from where the Lions play. This card ain't bad. We got Shane versus Kevin Owens, as we mentioned. And, of course, the WWE Championship. Jinder versus Shinsuke. Again, they do a good enough job building this. They've had 40 days since SummerSlam. What I'm excited about, and I hope it showcases tonight, is the tag team of New Day versus the Usos in Hell in a Cell for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Hopefully they push it and toe the line tonight. Their feud was great, especially with the promo work. And they backed off severely. I hope they continue with the insults, the shoots, the jabs on the microphone tonight on SmackDown. Natalya versus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte, deserved or not, I believe it's deserved, one of the very best in the game right now. She gets thrust into the spotlight and takes on Natalya for the SmackDown Women's Championship. AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin, that's for the United States Championship. AJ is going to try to make the best of it and truly try to make Baron Corbin look great. Finally, Bobby Roode shows up and challenges Ziggler. I'm excited about this. This will be the dark horse match where even though there's really technically nothing on the line, it's important for Ziggler to look great, not good, great, and Bobby Roode to look not good, but great. And I hope tonight they will establish a war of words on SmackDown for one final push so we can care a little bit more about these two. But expect a great wrestling match. There's nothing wrong with that. Rusev versus Randy Orton. 7 matches. Rusev and Randy, more of a filler match. Now, that's 7 matches. That's customary what they do. I would not be surprised if they add an 8th. If they don't add an 8th, they'll definitely add an 8th and consider that a kickoff match. I mean, Randy Rusev is more of a kickoff match. Well, ladies and gentlemen, very soon we're going to have the code break on the program. What we're going to do right now, we're going to take another small little break. I want to thank all the sponsors of the show. This is the Wrestling Morning Show. This is Mardel. That's who you're listening to. I'm your host. Follow the conversation on Twitter at Live Morning Show. All information you need is on thewrestlingmorningshow.com. When this show goes off the air, we will be on demand at iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. So you can always listen to the show. We'll be right back. It's the Wrestling Morning Show. Probably one of the greatest entrance themes of all time. Bastard USA. Definitely sound of the 80s and, of course, Southern Wrestling. As we mentioned, Lance Russell passed away today. One of the greatest announcers of all time. Coming up in a matter of moments, we got the code break with Brent Coder. We've been talking about Monday Night Raw. Foreshadow a little bit about SmackDown. What did you take away from Monday Night Raw? I mean, granted that there are just a couple weeks, 2 more shows before TLC. Before you know it's going to be around the corner. That's October 22nd. at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They do a good enough job? No, of course not. You think we have enough time? If you would ask me what's the biggest takeaway from the entire night, I would have to say that they did not mention Brock Lesnar. More importantly, they didn't mention who's in line for the Universal Championship. There's probably only one person that could probably shed some light on this. And we're going to bring it back on the show.
It's the Code Break with Brent Coder.
We're joined by Brent Coder. Coder, good morning to you.
What's up, Mardel? How you doing this morning?
Good, brother. Okay, let's, first of all, welcome back to the show. We have not talked in a while. I'm glad you called in. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw last night. Very uneventful. Couple things that stood out in my mind. Obviously, the massive tease for the Shield, which we kind of knew was going to happen. Sister Abigail is alive. I was excited about that. And also, the one thing that I'm actually pissed off about, no mention of Brock Lesnar, no mention of the Universal Championship. So, take one of those topics and let me hear your opinion, my friend. Go ahead.
Well, I loved actually where Bray was going last night. It was a different type of promo than we've seen from him, and you know we seem to get this character who's unraveling or losing it or you know transforming into something else. It was really cool the way they did the promo, and you know I love the idea of potentially a Sister Abigail type character joining Bray or, you know, possibly involved in this feud. Like, you know, it's something that he's needed. I'm a big Bray Wyatt fan. Been just, you know, looking for something different from him for a while. I think this feud with Finn Balor has been great, but we have yet to see much of an evolution of Bray, and it would make sense that we would get it here with a feud with the Demon. It seems to bring out the best in Bray, and obviously, you know, may lead to some type of either transformation or, you know, potentially a Sister Abigail character. And I thought that was a really cool segment, well done last night, and one of my favorite parts of Raw for what otherwise wasn't the best show.
No, it was actually underwhelming, and you know, I think to myself, I'm going to give you a little trivia question. What was the only time any reference to Monday Night Raw appeared on Twitter, trending-wise? Trivia question.
Last night?
Yes.
I don't know.
Sister Abigail. That was the first and only reference about wrestling that was trending last night. I've never seen that before in my life. Now, the state of the country, obviously, our prayers go out to everybody in Las Vegas. A lot of people have a lot of things on their mind. There's also Dancing with the Stars. There's also Monday Night Football. So there was obviously this happens every year, but my God, not only that, they provide really a lackluster show. And I thought my highlight was obviously Bray. I see Bray all the time, and all he's doing is jobbing, and these promos don't make sense. And he's really there just kind of give anybody who wrestles with him gets a rub off of him. But last night, wow, I literally sat up. I'm like, this is pretty awesome. And actually, we do this at the end of the segment, but I got to ask you now. This was a Twitter poll question I asked everybody. Kind of grabbed our attention now, didn't it? Sister Abigail is alive. So round 3. Obviously, that's referring to Bray and Finn. You think Abigail is, these are your 4 options. Bray and Abigail, same person. Abigail is going to be a new wrestler, a ghost-like figure, or they'll drop the idea soon. What is your opinion in that Twitter poll question?
I'm hoping she's a real person, so I'll go with that because I think his character needs it. I think we need some kind of evolution of Bray. It's been a while, so that's what I'm hoping for, so I'll go with that.
Okay, well, 37% said Bray and Abigail may be the same person. 34% Abigail is a new wrestler. 18% they drop the idea soon. And 11% ghost-like figure. I really enjoy this. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was awesome. That was a bigger highlight to me than the inevitable, the tease of the Shield coming back together. But it's amazing how the crowd was into it. Probably one of the only things the crowd was into the entire night was when they were chanting for the Shield, when Roman was getting his ass kicked last night, which a lot of people obviously enjoyed. But we see the final shot of Monday Night Raw. Seth, Roman, and Dino. This is inevitable, in your opinion, without a doubt. Is next week it will be official when they all join fists? I think that's when it becomes official, no?
Yeah, I would agree, and I would expect to see that, at some point next week. We got a little tease at the end of Raw last night. This is something you and I started talking about midsummer is,
Right.
You've got all these guys on Raw. They're all faces, which they all haven't been for some period of time over the last couple of years after they split up. And so it just makes sense that inevitably they were going to get back together. I actually thought it was going to happen sooner, like ahead of SummerSlam, but obviously that's not what we got. I think, in this, with the heavy competition that you mentioned between Monday Night Football, Dancing with the Stars, and many other things going on this time of year, a lot of shows coming back and, premiering. It's the right time, really, to get them back together. I'm not one that's super interested in it, but, it's been a while. It'll be cool to see, I think, for those that really love the Shield. And the idea of these guys coming back together. So it makes sense ahead of something like the Survivor Series, if they are going to do some type of, actual traditional Survivor Series type of match, that, we'd have the Shield back together. One of the things that was a bit confusing to me is the Miz now aligned with the Bar.
Right.
The Bar is what I'm calling them.
I like that one.
I know that's horrible, but that's what we have here. So we saw the Miz Taraj pretty much discarded last night, and now we see the Miz aligned with those two. And I don't know if that's just to elevate the Shield a little bit. The Miz Taraj maybe isn't of their caliber of feud. I'm not sure where all that's going, but I certainly expect to see the Shield back together next week.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways they could play with this. I mean, it could be title for titles. There's 3 titles, that could possibly be up for grabs in that situation. But you're right. The caliber that we thought the Shield would come back for would be a little bit more dominating than possibly those 3. But why not the Miz? Why not 2 of the very best wrestlers that get overlooked in Cesaro and Sheamus? And I'm thinking about getting one of those Bar T-shirts. I kind of enjoy that. I'm a big fan of both those guys. Let me ask you a question now. When the Shield first came together, now I know it's hard to be unbiased here, but who did you think was going to be the breakout star? I thought it was going to be Dean because of his track record and his mic skills. And you could watch all 3 of these guys go up and down in the last 2 to 3 years as they've been solo stars. But honestly, when they were all together and they were the Shield, who did you think someday would be the number 1 star?
I thought Seth Rollins, to be honest, just because I think he's the best wrestler. Now, obviously, Reigns has evolved, and so has Dean. But from the beginning, just on the mic, in-ring performance, I think Seth was well ahead of the other 2. Now they may have caught up, but I always thought Seth was going to be the one to really break out of the group. The other 2, if you remember, were very quiet, and Seth was more of the outspoken leader of the Shield for the most part. So I always thought it was going to be Seth, but like I said, I think all 3 of them are pretty much on a similar level now as far as popularity. Reigns maybe being a little bit bigger only because he's gotten the biggest push of them all. But we certainly saw an awesome run with Seth Rollins after the Shield broke up, him becoming champion, etc. Aligned himself with the Authority, was a hell of a run for him. and probably the best run of all three since the Shield broke up. Although Reigns of recent has looked pretty incredible in some of his matches, and obviously a big win against Cena recently.
Well, I always thought, like I said, it was Dean. Because Dean, if you followed the Johnny Moxley character, you know, and before he came in and became Dean Ambrose, he was excellent on the microphone, had the complete character going in. I'm going to talk about the very beginning stages of the Shield. I thought that someday Dean would break off. I knew that Seth was the best wrestler out of those three and one of the better wrestlers even on the roster. But, I mean, it's amazing, and I'm trying to think in my memory, has there ever been a faction? Has there ever been a faction, a stable, a group of 3 or 4 that all became dominant superstars once they broke up? And I can't think. If you mention anybody, any staple, you know, any stable or faction, there's always 1 or 2 people that kind of drifted off. I mean, if you mention DX, you know, the original DX, sure, maybe, with Shawn, Hunter, and Chyna. But if you mention the entire DX, of course, there's some guys who just didn't reach a certain level. But these guys became not just stars, super stars, which is awesome. We're going to move on from the Shield, and hopefully we'll have some eyes watching Monday Night Raw next week because of this. All right, now I'm going to talk to you about something that I'm pissed off about. No mention of Brock, no mention of who is taking Brock on again. I think everything is pointing toward a rematch and almost making up for a horrible first match between Brock and Braun, which was underwhelming and horrible, and probably the biggest letdown of any match I could remember. Unless there's somebody else we're missing for TLC, which is in just 2 weeks, actually less than 20 days. So they only got 2 more shows before they push it. Do you think Brock will take on Braun? Do you think Brock will maybe not even be at TLC? What do you think? I was pissed off last night that there was no indication of who is actually going to wrestle for the Universal Championship.
Well, I'm hoping we see Brock at TLC, but yeah, to your point, we may not. I would totally expect to see a rematch with Braun Strowman. I didn't think their first match was as horrible as you did. It could have been better. It felt hurried at the end with the finish between them, but I thought, you know, the 8 or 9 minutes leading up to that finish was pretty good. I think the match got cut a little bit short. I don't know if that was due to time or other things. Potentially one of the guys, you know, may have been nursing some type of injury in that match, but it did seem a little bit rushed, and certainly the finish could have been better in that match. But I'd love to see it again. And I'd love to see them get more time in the ring together. I certainly think they're capable of putting on an incredible match. And I know both of them, if they feel that way, they want to, you know, make that good. So I would expect to see them in the ring again, hopefully for TLC, because I don't see where Strowman would have anybody else really at this point to align a feud with. He's obviously been involved with Seth and Dean over the last couple of weeks, but that's more of a just, I think, saving face from his loss against Lesnar, getting a couple wins over the tag team champions. But yeah, I'm really hoping we get this for TLC. But man, they're down to a couple weeks, and they've really got to build something pretty quick here.
Right. I mean, there's 2 more shows, and obviously, okay, I can understand if we knew this was going in, it's going to be a rematch. We'd see Paul last night, okay, or maybe we'll see Brock next week or something to that effect, but there really was no mention. So after TLC, the next major pay-per-view will be November 19th, Survivor Series. Now, as we know in the past, Survivor Series, this is when the entire thing really is, in my opinion, is built upon November sweeps for Monday Night Raw, where they got to work their ass off, and they're still competing against Monday Night Football. So let's just look at some of the last couple of years of the main events. Batista versus Undertaker in 2007. Cena versus Triple H versus Shawn Michaels in 2009. Cena versus The Rock versus The Miz and R-Truth. I was there at Madison Square Garden. That was 2011, where the sound system failed. Pissed me off, but that's beside the point. 2012, Punk versus Cena versus Ryback. Orton versus Big Show. And, of course, there's Survivor Series at Scott's Trade, where everybody was in that, 5-on-5. That was the main event. A couple years ago, Roman versus Dean. That was for the championship. Last year, Brock versus Goldberg. I can almost see them as a guarantee to have at least one massive main event, possibly not having Brock at TLC. I don't know. I'm starting to get a little upset, starting to get a little antsy. And of course, we'll have our answers on Monday with that. Let's move on to another topic. Enzo Amore. I have preached on the show the fatigue of Enzo. We've talked about this, me and you, a lot of times, how we feel about Enzo. I'm not going to lie. I care a little bit more now about the Cruiserweight division. I like the fact that he's a full-blown heel, I think, unless they continue to change. Now, usually heel doesn't get his ass beat by 20 people. The crowd is actually still loving them. They're 50-50. And you know what? Now he gets to let loose as a heel and verbally shoot upon his fellow division mates. And what an epic fail, in my opinion. Callisto was the big signing. That was just such a letdown. Give me your thoughts about Enzo. Can you stomach him a little bit more, or you could care less about this division, Coder?
Well, I mean, it's not, I'm not totally into the division, but, as we've talked with Enzo, I think it was a great addition to add him to the Cruiserweights. It certainly puts a spotlight on them to have a few big names. I think Callisto's a good add, maybe not a big surprise, but certainly helps the division. And I like this idea of adding some of the main roster guys to the 205 Live, roster and Cruiserweight division. So Enzo, we've been talking about this, like you said. It's grown a little bit stale. I love the idea of him turning heel. I think that's what we're seeing the beginnings of, and looking forward to seeing more of that. I think that's fresh for him. I think he'd be pretty good at it. He's obviously got a big mouth that he can run, which would definitely help him get over as a heel. And, the crowd will eventually turn on him. And I think that's what the division needs. I think it needs a few more heels. You've obviously got Neville, who's pretty exceptional at it. But in order to build the faces, you got to have a couple good heels. And so I think that's really what the division is lacking, is some solid faces that are truly over with the fans. And I think if you have some really solid heels in Enzo and Neville, you can really start to build some faces around them.
All right, a couple quick questions for you. The Matt Hardy, Jason Jordan, they took Jason Jordan away from a tag team to make him a solo star. Obviously, Jeff Hardy is sidelined with a torn rotator cuff, had surgery. Is this just a one and done, you think, last night with Matt and Jason Jordan? And we'll see them break off as individual competitors, or you think this will be kind of a friendship and they'll be tagging in the future, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, this is where my sort of disappointment with where things are going comes in. I was really looking forward to a run here with Jason Jordan versus The Miz for a few months. But obviously we're not going to get that. They totally just abandoned that. I don't know why. They put on a great match at the last pay-per-view. It was an exceptional match, actually. And, I thought what would have been a great rivalry to really build the Jason Jordan character. Obviously, some unfortunate things have happened with Jeff, where he needs surgery. And you've got Matt without a partner who hasn't really established himself as, a singles wrestler. So this may be more of a transitional period. I think we'll see him and Jordan tag for a while. I don't know that that'll go on for months, but maybe a few weeks, and maybe for this first pay-per-view. But unfortunate in my mind. I don't think this does a whole lot for where Jason Jordan was headed. Obviously, he's just coming out of a Intercontinental Championship opportunity, and now is thrown in the midst of mid-card tag team division. So I don't think it's good for him. He had some momentum coming out of the last pay-per-view. Would really like to see that continue. So I think it's unfortunate for him that he's going to lose probably the spotlight for the next month or so. At least that's where it seems to be going. And, you know, once these guys get, you know, knocked down a level, it's sometimes hard to get back to where they were at. And that's my worry here, is that he gets lost in the shuffle now versus, you know, what would have really elevated him, which is continuing a feud with The Miz. So we'll see where this goes. But, you know, I'm a little disappointed with what they're doing with Jason Jordan right now.
All right, now, this was going to be a Twitter poll question for last night. I might save it for tonight. Is Alexa Bliss the most important female on any brand?
Yes. I think so. I think, you know, she's certainly the most polarizing. Right? People
absolutely.
either love her or hate her. You can see it all over Twitter. There are people that absolutely love Alexa, and there are people that hate her. There's really no in-between with her, which, you know, obviously does a lot for her and makes her the focus of a lot of shows, a lot of storylines within the division, because they know that she can pull the fans one way or the other. So, yes, without a doubt.
Well, the one reason, I mean, I've been thinking about this, and since the very beginning of this show, a very long time ago, by the way, if you think about it, we've raved about Alexa Bliss, how literally she took nothing. She was an afterthought. One of the longest tenured NXT competitors. Oh, by the way, come on up, let's see what you can do. Became a superstar. And not only that, when you think of the women's division, especially on Raw, you care what she's doing. You care what storyline she's in. Then you have fan favorites like Sasha and Bayley. They were in the mix last night with Emma and Alicia. No one cared. No one cared whatsoever. Yes, the fans, it was great to see Sasha and Bayley. Of course, they have a lot of fans, but when it comes to intensity, because I'm talking about last night, out of nowhere, they were not friends anymore. Nia Jax opens the door to Mickie James, which I'm like, okay, they're friends again. That's great. And even the fact that Mickie James is going to wrestle Alexa Bliss, I'm excited about Mickie James. I like this storyline now. Any way you look at it, with Alexa being a heel, it plays great with everybody she's ever wrestled. Now they're going to probably use, a storyline that's always used in cinema and television and now wrestling. The young upstart, the snarky kid, Alexa Bliss, I guess, takes on the old crafty veteran. And maybe that's a storyline they could play, and that could definitely connect to some of the feelings of the fans out there. So, yes, that might have to be a question tonight, because I definitely think she's the most important person. And probably one of the best superstars, male or female, on any brand. All right, it's that time, Mr. Coder, where I gauge your opinion on some of these Twitter poll questions. We asked you one earlier in the program. All right, here's the first one. In your opinion, is the torch officially passed to Roman Reigns? Is he the top guy for the WWE? Your options are yes, no, too early to tell. Go ahead.
I'm going to say too early to tell. Obviously, that was supposed to be the case, but it all happened quickly. He moved into another feud with The Miz right away. I think they really needed to end the story with Xena or tell more of that story. It just seemed to all shift very quickly into another feud. So I think and now it looks like he's going to join the Shield. So, it doesn't really elevate him as a singles star in the sense of passing the torch to the next biggest, singles guy. So, I'm going to say the jury's still out. Obviously, that's what they wanted to happen, but I'm not sure that the storyline plays that out very well.
All right, well, 53% said yes. 25% said no. 22% said too early to tell. Okay, so I asked you the Bray Wyatt question about who you think Abigail is going to be. And as I mentioned, 37% said Bray and Abigail are going to be the same person, while 34% said Abigail is a new wrestler. All right, the next question. What was your favorite moment on Raw tonight? Shield tease at the end. Sister Abigail is alive. Enzo jokes shoots on the Cruiserweight division. Or everything Alexa Bliss. Those are your 4 options.
I'm going to go with Bray here. I mean, I think where we kicked off today's conversation, I love where this is going, the potential new layers for Bray, which is well needed, and I'm a big fan, so I'm going to go with Bray here.
If I was voting, I would say, yes, Sister Abigail is alive is the best thing that happened at Raw last night, but 58% said the Shield tease at the end. 15% everything Alexa Bliss, 8% Enzo's jokes and shoots on the Cruiserweights. I mean, maybe I'm overthinking this, but I thought, I mean, for me, and that's what we opened our conversation with, probably the best thing that happened was this Bray Wyatt promo where his sister is alive. But obviously other people have spoken and they're more excited about the Shield. But that's why we love wrestling. Everybody has their own opinion. It's subjective. All right, the last question. What was the biggest fail of the night for Raw? These are your options. Callisto signing, the women's tag match, no mention of the Universal title, or most of Raw. What's your opinion?
I think no mention of the Universal title. Obviously, it's the biggest title on the show. You've got Brock Lesnar, you've got Braun, who were just recently in the ring fighting for it, and no mention of it or no build to what's next for that title, I think, is still a mystery. So that was the biggest disappointment for me.
Well, finally, me, you, and the world agree. 43% no mention of the Universal title. Second, the Callisto signing. Third, with 24% most of Raw and 4% the women's tag match. So those are our Twitter poll questions. I am truly excited about tonight, Mr. Coder. Hopefully you are too. It's the go-home show for SmackDown. Still a lot of loose ends that need to be resolved. The final question I'm going to ask you before I let you go. Tomorrow, the biggest thing we'll be talking about after SmackDown tonight.
Well, it's got to revolve around Kevin Owens in my mind. He's been the center point thus far of the storylines on SmackDown, and certainly of the last couple weeks, he's been phenomenal. So I would expect more great stuff, great promos, great in-ring, or whatever happens with Kevin Owens tonight will be what we're talking about tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I agree with you. I also expect big things, hopefully. One final push, because they haven't really done much of it. Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. I'm hoping something great comes out of that so we can talk about it, because I love both those guys, and it's about time, finally. Bobby Roode in the picture. Coder, thank you so much. Great to have you back for the Code Break. Follow Coder at CodeRock874 on Twitter. Mr. Coder, thank you so much, bro.
All right, thanks, Mardel. Talk soon, brother.
All right, bye-bye.
It's the Code Break with Brent Coder.
It's always great to have Coder on the program. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is at 10:49 Eastern Standard Time. We have about 5 minutes left on the program. If you want to call in, you are more than welcome to. The number is 844-627-3352. Man, we talked about a lot today. And a lot of the stuff we talked about, obviously, came from an uneventful Monday Night Raw. What I'm excited about is tonight. This is it. They've not done a good job pushing Hell in a Cell. The one thing they have done, obviously, and this goes back to a couple pay-per-views, Shane O'Mac and Kevin Owens. People are interested. Kevin Owens is performing at the very best that he possibly perform on that microphone and really making us hate him, especially the casual fans. I'm a Kevin Owens fan, huge fan. Coder is like the biggest Kevin Owens fan, so he's excited about that. Shane O'Mac never disappoints. Never disappoints. So I expect both these guys hopefully could steal the show. My bigger concern is caring more about Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke Nakamura. This is for the, well, it's for the Holy Grail. It's for the WWE Championship. Obviously, Jinder a couple weeks ago got in a little trouble for his promo. People citing that it could be racist. I don't think it was. I think it was bad writing, and Jinder really is just not very good on the microphone. And then they want him to do comedy. Come on. He's taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. Obviously, the way you put over Shinsuke Nakamura is inside that ring, not on the mic. They've done neither. So, and also this is a rematch. And I think to have people start to watch, this is where maybe Jinder has to drop the title. If not, then where does Shinsuke Nakamura go after this? I mean, really. He takes just a back seat. And of course, I've said this earlier in the show, I love when New Day and the Usos are on the microphone and they talk trash. We know it's going to physically be a great match in Hell in a Cell. That's all they've done in the last couple of times they face each other, is give us great matches. I'm hoping Natalya will break this. She's almost stuck in this heel character, this bad gimmick, really. This crazy cat lady. Hopefully she shows a little bit more personality against Charlotte, who's now, obviously because of her father and because of just how the storyline has become since she joined SmackDown, really kind of a face. Now, if she wins the title, maybe she'll go back to the old Charlotte that we all fell for. We'll see. Maybe we see the Fashion Files, maybe we don't. We've not seen them in ages, but I'm excited about that. So we're obviously going to have a big show tomorrow. Not only are we going to have a big show talking about SmackDown, but this is our big kind of final push for Hell in a Cell. We're also going to announce a very special Hell in a Cell show that should be coming up. We'll keep you guys posted about that. Now, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, we do the show every Tuesday, every Wednesday, and we, of course, have special shows. We do the show live, and we have one number, 844-627-3352. That number is not only the call-in number, it's the text number. If you want to leave a voicemail or not on the air, you're more than welcome to. Any comments, questions, or concerns, you can leave it at 844-627-3352. And I want to mention again, we have our own app available on iTunes and Google Play. Download the app, have it on your phone. Then you can listen to us whenever you want. Especially, it makes it easy if you're using a Bluetooth device, if you're using a CarPlay device, or any time you need to listen to the program, you have it right on your phone. We always stream live on Spreaker, always stream live on Facebook, Twitter, and of course, the WrestlingMorningShow.com. WrestlingMorningShow.com, very basic website, gives you all the information that you need. Now, when this show goes off the air in about a minute or so, it'll be on demand, in podcast form, edited, with limited commercials. And that is available, obviously, in iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. I will take away from Raw the fact that there were not a lot of eyes on Monday Night Raw. And if there were, there definitely were DVR eyes later on after people were watching everything else that was on television. I know the country itself is maybe not in the mood for certain things. And I can't blame you. Tonight, I think will be a bounce back night, especially with the go home show for SmackDown. A lot more things that are on the line. So that should be somewhat exciting. As I mentioned, we'll be, obviously, and we do this every Monday night and Tuesday, and of course, a little bit into Wednesday, as we always live tweet as much as we possibly can, if it presents itself on Twitter. And of course, always give your opinions, one way or the other, anytime we tweet. Now, if you get a tweet from the Wrestling Morning Show, it's obviously from me, Mardel, your host. Now, who's tweeting? It's me. Figured you guys probably knew that, but I just let you guys know. Well, it has come to that time, my friends. All right, it is almost 4 to the hour of 11 o'clock, and I appreciate everybody listening. Not only people listening here in the continental United States, but of course, the good brothers, the good sisters in the UK, Canada, around the world, no matter what time it is. Of course, we got people in Australia listening. I know that for a fact. I thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being part of the show. I want to thank everybody at Broadcast Row, the network that provides the show, everybody behind the scenes. Also want to thank Brent Coder for the code break. Follow him at CodeRock874. We got a big show tomorrow, as you know. What is the reaction, the fallout from SmackDown? We're also going to talk a little Total Bellas. We have not covered it that much. And of course, the open forum and the news topics of the day in the world of professional wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening, and be good.
Live on Broadcast Row, it's the Wrestling Morning Show.